Hello everyone. In this video we are going to see the dropout. So basically dropout is the method of overcoming the overfitting. So overfitting is the problem in case of your deep neural network. That is because of the very large number of the hidden layers, as well as the in every hidden layer there are the more number of the or the large number of the neurons or the units. So as there are the more number of units, there will be the more number of corresponding weights, and because of this it will consider the more number of parameters, and because of that we are facing the problem of overfitting. So what is the reason that to use the dropout? So this is the intuitive reason, or maybe the its logical reason, or you can say it is the analogy why to use the dropout. So when we are working in the team, if everybody expect the partner will do the work, so when we are working in the team and everybody expect your partner will do the work, so at the end nothing will be done finally. So no work will be done because we are relying over the partners, and nobody will work because we are expecting that these others will work, and at the final the no work will be done in case of the team. However, if you know your partner will drop out, you will do better. So in case of, if you know that this your partner can be drop out at any time or any instant of time, so you have to work or you will give your best, because you know that there is no alternative, because at any time your partners may be the dropout. So with this one, it will give you the less computational load, because in case of the deep neural network, so there are the large number of weights, large number of neurons, and because of that, it will be, if you consider the whole network, and if you try to train the complete network simultaneously, this will give you the computational or heavy computational load. So because of this dropout, some of the neurons or some of the units are drop out or the removed temporarily from the network, and a very less number of neurons are working or trained during the iteration, and because of that this computational load can be reduced or it will be the less. While testing, there will not be any dropout, so no node will be dropout while testing. While training we are using the dropout procedure, but while testing, so all the neurons, all the weights will be present as it is, and because of that it is expected that we are getting the good result. So that is the basic of the dropout. Here we will see that this how the computational load is reduced because of the dropout. So as there are more number of calculations are required in case of the uh, deep neural network for a large number of neurons and the hidden layers. So we require the more number of calculation, and because of that there is the heavy computational load. The high computational overload and the networks get slower. So because of the computational load, your network will be slower. The solution for this one, we can use the high performance processors like GPUs, and we can use the some efficient algorithm like the batch normalization. So this is your complete network. Typically, model averaging, which are the bagging ensemble or the boosting ensemble methods, is always helps. So in case of the bagging and boosting methods, we are using the averaging. So how the averaging is done? Here this is the network, complete network having the some number of hidden layers, two number of hidden layers having the 5 nodes in the every hidden layer, output layer and the input layer. So some of the neurons or the some of the units from the hidden layers are drop out or these are removed. Okay, so the very thin network will be removed, but here the procedure is used for the dropping out is something different than what procedure we are going to use. Here the dropping is used for the output layer also, as there are the 3 units in the output layer. Here it is used as the only one, and every time that same node is used in the output for the every iteration. So some it is, and there is no dropping of the units in the input layer as well as in the hidden layer. So hidden layer, some of the hidden layers even gets disappear from this network. So we can do the dropping in case of the this type of method, bagging ensemble methods, and then this method, this small network. So there will be n number of networks can be formed, and all the networks are trained by the input samples. So training several larger neural networks. So if you train these several networks from the one network, so this is the one complete network. From that, dropping some of the neurons, we are getting the very large number of networks. So training these several large neural networks for making an ensemble is expensive. So this will be the expensive method or the computationally expensive method. How you can uh, overcome this drawback? So there may be the option one. So train the several neural networks having the different architecture. So it is having the different architectures every time because we are dropping something, and because of that, training all these networks, several networks, is expensive one. You can use the another option, train the multiple instances of the same network using the different training samples. Again, this is also expensive. What is the second option? uh, you can train the whole network without using any dropping and all. Your complete network can be trained, but your um, input training or the training samples or the uh, training, you can say, set, so that you can divide into the number of batches, and then we can train it one by one. So first batch is applied, find out the output, another batch is applied, find out the output, and then output of this whole network, and then you can do the averaging, and then you are getting the performance of that particular network. But still it is expensive because we have to train it number of times, same network, but the input samples are divided into the number of batches. So both the methods or both the options are expensive. Even if we manage to train with the option 1 or 2, combining the several models at test time is infeasible in real time application. So even if you manage to train, because training is offline, so during that one you can train this by using maybe the option 1 or option 2, though it requires the more time, it is the computationally expensive. But if you manage this training, but at the time of testing, so this creates the problem because it will require the more time to test, because you have to test it again into the, for the first option as a number of networks, or in second option same network but number of inputs or the number of batches of the input. So that will require the more time, and it is infeasible in the real time application. So real time application will require the fast testing. So dropout, so that's why the dropout technique is came in existence, and the dropout techniques addresses both these issues. So the both the issues are addressed by the, or solved by the dropout technique. Effectively, it allows the training several neural network without any significant computational overhead. So what is the beauty of the dropout? It trains the several networks similar to this one, but only the dropout method is different. How it is, neurons are dropout. So it will train the several neural network, but there will not be any significant computational overhead or the computational load. So that is the beauty of the dropout method. So this dropout, so this is the method for preventing the overfitting. Dropout refers to the dropping out the unit. So we have to drop out the sum of the units from your complete network. Temporarily remove a node and all its incoming outgoing connection, resulting in the thin network. So we have to remove the sum of the neurons or some of the units from the hidden layer as well as from the input layer, not from the output layer. Output layer neurons will be as it is. So dropout is used or applied for only the hidden layer neurons, as well as it is applied for the input layer neurons. So some of the neurons from the hidden layers are drop out, their connection or interconnection, these are the interconnection from this node to the other nodes, these are removed. So these are temporarily removed in the one iteration. Each node is retained with the fixed probability. Typically 0.5 is the probability for the hidden layer nodes, and for the 0.8 probability is 0.8 for the visible or the input nodes or input layer nodes. So how many number of nodes is to be retained from hidden layer? So normally this probability is typically it is given as the 0.5. So 50% of the node is removed for each iteration from the hidden layer, and 0.8% of the node or the 80% of the node is retained. That means 20% are nodes are dropped down from the input layer. So these are the typical values. So in some of the networks it may goes here and there, but normally these values are used. While training, dropout is implemented by only keeping a neurons active with some probability p. So by using this some hyper parameter. So p is the some hyper parameters that we can use during each mini batch of training. So how it is done? So drop the sum of the neurons from the hidden layer 50% at one iteration. One iteration means for the one batch of the input set. So input set is again divided into the number of batches. If you have the 1000 number of input samples, that can be divided into the 100. So having the batch of the only 10 in 10 inputs in one batch. So in that way, first 10 number of input samples are applied as a first batch with some nodes are dropout. In second iteration, some other neurons will be dropout. So that probability is here the 0.5 and the 0.8. So how many number of neurons are retained? Here it is given as the how many number of neurons are retained rather than dropping out. So it is the 0.5 or the 50% neurons for every iteration drop out from the hidden layer, and 80% neurons are retained, or the 20% neurons are drop out from the input layer. So this probability, every node may be having the probability how many number of times or what is the probability of the every node will be retained, every node, okay, because it is not necessary that in the next iteration. So what are the nodes we have considered here? These are the active nodes and these are the dropout nodes, these are the dropout. So not necessary that this all the nodes here it is the dropout that will be active in the another iteration. So there is the probability that this particular node will be remains active in the another iteration also. Okay. So that probability will be decided by the certain hyperparameter. Using dropout idea, each node can be retained or the dropout. So every node can be retained or every node can be dropout. Suppose a neural network has the n nodes. So there will be the 2 raised to n number of thin neural network will be formed. So if there are the n number of nodes in the hidden layer as well as the input layer, so how many number of thin networks of this type will be occur or will be formed? That will be the 2 raised to n. So this, as in the deep neural network, the value of the number of nodes are very high and it will be 2 raised to n. So there will be a very large number of thin network can be obtained, and from that we can sample the sum of the thin network, not all. It is not possible to train all the 2 raised to n number of thin network. So this is the large number because 2 raised to n is very large number, because n is itself is a very large for the hidden deep neural network. So this is a large number and possibly we cannot train so many neural networks. So many neural network or the thin neural network after dropping or after dropout, we cannot train that much. So what is the idea for this one or trick for this? So trick one, share the weights across all networks. So we have to share the weights across the all networks. So sharing the weight is nothing but here it is these are the weights of this layer, these are the weights of this another layer. So this weights we are not going to change. What we are changing in while dropping out, so these weights are disconnected, and when these particular nodes are active in that particular iteration, their weights will be remains as it is. The values of the weights will be remains as it is. When you go for the another iteration, another neurons will be active, so these same weights we are going to use. So these weights are shared with the complete network. So same, because every neurons, not necessary that it will be comes once or it will be comes twice. Some of the neurons, as it is the probability, and randomly we are selecting the which node should be active with this parameter or the hyperparameter p. And because of that, there may be the some nodes which comes into the remains active into the 4 number of iterations. Some nodes maybe remains active for the 10 number of iteration. Some nodes may be the active for the 1 number of iteration. So not necessary that this all the nodes will be remains active for the equal number, as it is the probability or the randomly selected neurons for activeness. Second one, sample different networks for each training instance. So rather than using the all 2 raised to n number of thin networks, we can use the very less. We can sample. If you want to use the suppose 10 number of neurons, suppose this n is suppose the 10, so 2 raised to 10, so that figure will be the 1024. Out of 1024 number of nodes or the thin network, we can use only the 100. So which 100? That is, you can use the sampling. So we can sample the different network for each training instance. For each every iteration, we can sample only the 100. That we can use the sampling method. So this forces the network to be accurate even in the absence of certain information. For because in one of the iteration, some network or some units are inactive, and because of that the information contains within this one, because this has the weight and that weights are removed temporarily, and because of that weight contains the information, because the weight has the certain values, so that information will not be present, and still it will be accurate. It prevent the network from becoming too dependent on any one neuron. So because of this one, so as the some of the neurons are dropped down, our network will not depend on the one neuron only, because the same neuron maybe appears or becomes active in the another iteration. So it will remove or it will reduces the dependency of the your network on the single neuron. So this is the process of dropout, how it is done. So initially we have to initialize all the weights of the network and start training. So initially all the weight matrix with this weight as well as this weight has to be initialized. So large weight matrix will be there, so that will be initialized with the smaller values and small random values for the first training instant or the mini batch. So we are dividing our complete training set into the number of batches. So every batch is called as the mini batch. Uh, Apply the dropout resulting in the thin network. So this is the first iteration for the first training batch. So some of the neurons will be drop out, their interconnections are removed, and because of that this becomes the some thin network, first thin network for the first iteration. Compute the loss and back propagate. So we have to compute the loss. So apply the input, first batch of the input, then find out the net input for this every neuron in this one, which are active one. Then find out the output by using the certain say activation function, and then apply this to the next one. Again find out the output. So that is your common procedure to find out the output of the every or any neuron. So we are getting the output, then find out the loss. So your actual value minus computed value y hat, and then we will get the loss, and then back propagate that loss or the error, so that this error can be reduced. So that procedure is your back propagation algorithm. The only parameters for the nodes are updated which are active. So error is back propagated. So error is back propagated to only the active nodes. So only this red one connections will be the active connection or the active weights, and these are the active neurons. So the error is back propagated to only the neurons or the units which are active, and these are inactive one. So these are the dead neurons for the temporary. So this is the first iteration. Then for the second iteration, use the another mini batch. Again apply the dropout resulting in the different thin networks. So this is for the first iteration. Then for second iteration, we have used that P or the probability, and by using that probability you can select the another 50%. Not necessarily that all the previously active will becomes as the inactive. So some active nodes may be the repeated again here in the second iteration. So with this one, so there are the 2 raised to n number of possibility of this network, and because of that, out of that we can select the very less possible combination. So here this is the suppose the second the thin network for the second iteration. Again apply the input, another batch of the input, again find out the loss function, again back propagate this, and this will be back propagated through only the active one. Okay, active networks. So in that way this will be continue till how many number of thin networks we are going to use out of 2 raised to n for each and every batch of the input. So this is during the training. What happens during the test time? During the test time, if you do the same thing, you can use the whole network and apply the test input. So for that, again it will require the more time, because this network is very complicated or very large number of neurons in the hidden layers. There may be the more number of hidden layers again. So because of that, it will take the time, or it will not possible to test this network in the real time application. So for that, here in case of the drop down, the method is used. So this one, during test time, it is impossible to aggregate the output of 2 raised to n number of thin networks. So all the thin networks what we have used in case of the training, during the testing, all the thin networks is not possible to test, because it will require the more time to test all the possible thin network what we have used in the training, because the testing should be the real time. So you have to use some different method. Instead of use the full network, we are using the scale the output of each node by the fraction of times it was active during the training. So this is the picture. During the training, this particular fellow or this neuron or the unit out of that all. So this particular unit, this was present with the probability of P. But how many number of times it will present during all the iteration? So maybe the P times, or its probability or the factor it will present is P. So out of 100 number of iterations, it will present only for the 10 number. So it is a 0.1. So it will present this particular one neurons will be present with the probability of P during the training time, and these are the corresponding its weights, updated weights during the training. Okay, so during testing, we are assuming that because we are using the whole network, we are not dropping any neurons from the hidden layer as well as input layer at the time of testing. So each and every neuron will be present all times. So all the neurons or that particular neurons, all the neurons are present all the time during the testing. So this particular neuron, it was during the training, it was present only for P, or its probability for present is P during training. Not all time it was present, it is present for only the probability P. But when it is testing, we are considering the whole network without any dropping, and because of that, that particular neurons will be present always, as it is always present at the time of testing, and these are its weights. So already these weights are updated during the training, and we are multiplying this weight, or we are scaling the weights, updated weight of this particular neurons by P. Why? Because it was present P probability during the training time. So we are using the scale factor for this updated weight by P. So this we are giving the proper justice to its weight updation. So if any particular neuron is present large amount of time during the testing, or the more number of uh, iteration during training, so the p value will be larger one and its weights will be scaled somewhat with the higher value. And if any neuron, it is less number of time is present or the active during training, so its p value will be less, and according to that its weights, updated weight, will be scaled down with the some lower value. So we are giving the proper justice for the each and every neuron, so that its output will be considered with its proper scaling factor. Instead, we use the full network, scale the output of each node by the fraction of times it was active during the training. So this fraction of time it was active means this p, and it will be, this weights will be scaled by the p. So drop down prevents the hidden units from co-adapting. What is co-adapting? Co-adapting is nothing but uh, as we are using the some neurons in one iteration, some neurons in another iteration, it may happens that the you do some work, I will do some work similar to your assignment. When the assignments are given, it may happens that you solve the two question, some other fellow will solve the another two questions, some another one will solve the some another one question or two question. In that way, you may divide the questions into in your group or in your batch. So you are not studying the each and everything. So your someone is studying some part, someone is studying some part, or someone is completing some question, someone is questioning, completing the some other question, and in that way this will happens in the your this type of methods, or this type of method, that is co-adapting. So this is not happens in case of the drop dropout method. Why? Because we know that every member or every neuron knows that these other neurons may be dropped down at any instant of time, and because of that, that particular neurons has to do his own work. He cannot rely on the another neurons, because the another neurons or another its partners within that group or within this networks, the other members may be dropped down or may be removed at any instant of time, and which partners will be removed or which members will be removed from this one, that is not known, because it is the random. And because of that, if every neuron has to work or has to do his own work uh, sincerely, or you can say it has to give its best better one. So every neuron will be perform better in case of the drop down, because he cannot rely on the others, because others can be dropped down at any instant of time. So essentially hidden unit cannot rely too much on other units, as the other units can be dropped out at any instant of time. Each hidden unit has to be learned more robust. Every unit has to be learned robust. Robust means because that neuron, as other neurons can be dropped down at any instant of time, it has to be learned very sincerely or robustly. So this is the example how the dropout ensures the redundancy and the robustness. So this is the example of detecting the face by using the nodes. So for example, so this is the network for detecting the face. So here the ith neuron HI. This is particularly learn to detect the face by firing on the detecting the nodes. So this is learn to detect the face by detecting the nodes. So this whenever there is a nodes part will be appears, this HI node or ith node in the hidden layer, this will be fire when there is the nodes part is there in your face. So dropping HI. So if other neurons are not learn to detect the nodes, what will happen? Whenever the HI will be dropped, at that time this uh, will be erasing the information that a node exists. So whatever the information is having with HI, so when there is the node, it will fire. So it is similar when we drop this particular node. So the information corresponding to the nodes, so that will not be remains present, or that will be erases. because other neurons are not doing anything. Okay, in general, the model should learn another neurons which redundantly encodes the presence of nodes. So in that method, in our dropout method, what will happen, all other nodes has to, or some other nodes other than this hi has to be again learn to detect the nodes. So this is the redundancy, because the same node information or the detecting the node or that particular neuron will be fired when it detect the nodes. So the same information will be learned by the more number of neurons. So that's why it is called as a redundancy, and because of the redundancy, your this method will perform the best or the better one. Or if it is not done, if other neurons are not learning or they learn to detect the nodes, and if it is drop down or the dropout, hi is dropout which detect the nodes, and suppose the other neurons are not learned for detecting the nodes, in that case there is no alternative. Our model should learn to detect the face using other features, so not using the nodes. So normally we are detecting the face, it is the face if the node is present, and that information is learned by only the this particular node, ith node in hidden layer. And if it is dropout and all other nodes are not learn this information, so we have to use the another feature. Instead of node, you can use the another feature to detect by the another hi or another node, and then it will work. So rather than in dropout, the same information, the node information will be detected by this node, or the this node will be learned to detect the nodes, as well as other nodes are learn to detect the nodes. And because of that, if somebody is dropout, so other can perform this work. And that's why our performance of the neural network or the deep neural network will be better if you use the dropout method, and there will not be any overfitting. So this is about the dropout method. In next video, we'll see the last point, that is the architecture of the CNN, convolution neural network. So in that, all these concepts are used in short. So we can use we can write about the details of this concept in that particular architecture. So thank you for watching this video.